Elite Facts presents
7 things that doctors don't want to tell you.
7.
Fatigue is a doctor's worst enemy. Next time you decide to shout at your doctor or nurse because you don't agree with their diagnosis or treatment method, take into consideration that they're most likely worn down and don't need you screaming at them for simply doing their jobs. Back in 2015, a doctor passed away when her car lost control and ran into a tree during her drive back home. The doctor's name was Dr. Afifa Modghazi, a 27-year-old anesthetics officer at the Shanghai Bulo Hospital. It's believed that the accident happened due to her driving under extreme fatigue after working for almost 24 hours non-stop. And considering the pressure she was under on a daily basis like most doctors and nurses, things like this are expected. This isn't the only story, though, as back in May of 2016, another fatal accident happened, this time involving Dr. Nurul Huda Ahmad from the University Sains Malaysia Hospital, HUSM. The accident happened while she was also behind the wheel and was traveling to Kuala Terengganu to meet her husband and 3 children. It was believed that Dr. Nurul Huda had finished a 33-hour shift at the time, so again, go easy on them. They're already going through a lot and don't need the stress of someone screaming and shouting at them.
6.
Misdiagnosis is incredibly common. Most doctors who are proud of their job will say that medicine is an art form. The reason this statement has been made is because medicine is quite a mysterious subject. Sure, we know a lot about treatments and diagnosis, but we don't know how to treat every illness and injury known to mankind. Because of this, misdiagnosing ailments and injuries is incredibly common. Take back pain, for example. You get an MRI, which is a good start, but it doesn't tell where the pain is coming from. The doctor can see something unusual and assume this is what's causing the aches, and he or she may order surgery. But even after the surgery, the problem could still be there, causing the person to go in for more testing and surgeries, and thus the cycle continues until you eventually get down to the bottom of the problem and fix it. It's a vicious cycle.
5.
Your doctor probably didn't look over your CT or MRI scans. Oh yeah, those expensive MRI scans you go for to see what's wrong with you? Yeah, more often than not, doctors don't even look over them. There isn't even a person on hand in the hospital to look over MRI and CT scans. Now, we know what you're probably thinking. Well, why don't they have a guy who works in-house on this stuff? You'd think that'd be standard with any hospital. Well, there's a reason for that. In recent years, hospitals have begun taking advantage of the falling prices of high-speed internet connections to outsource traditional operations. It's because of this emerging field of teleradiology that hospitals have been allowed to outsource their radiology department. Traditionally, like when someone misunderstands the concept of gravity and the density of concrete, a trip to the emergency room is in order. An X-ray would be given, and a radiologist on site would evaluate that X-ray to determine what treatment is necessary. In a way, this is more beneficial to the patient, as this means they can get the results of their scan back to them much faster.
4.
Most doctors will work up to 33-hour shifts because they're always on call. Now, it's common knowledge that being a doctor or a nurse is one of the most stressful and demanding jobs a person can have. Now, we all know that doctors need to be on call more or less all the time. However, did you know that because of this demanding requirement, most doctors can work up to 33 hours non-stop? Now, okay, if you don't understand how a doctor's work schedule is, let us break it down for you. For the most part, a doctor's working hours are from 8 in the morning to 5 in the evening. The on-call system, however, is pretty much forced overtime for doctors. The hours are 5 p.m. until 8 a.m. the next day. That's another 15 hours for normal working days, Monday to Friday. And 8 a.m. until 8 a.m. the next day. That's 24 hours for the weekends, Saturday and Sunday. This would mean that if a doctor had to be on call after his normal working hours, he or she would be working for more than 24 hours. If the doctor had to be on call on Mondays, for example, as he or she would be reporting to work at 8 a.m. on Tuesday, which is when yesterday's on-call ended, that would mean the doctor worked for 33 hours straight. Can you imagine that?
3.
Surgeons are known to multitask operations. Okay, now this one is a bit of a scary one, but we wouldn't worry too much as all surgeons are trained for pressured situations like this. But don't think that just because you've got your surgery scheduled today that you're the surgeon's main focus. Odds are he's probably got another surgery scheduled in a different operating theater at the exact same time as yours, depending on the size of the hospital, of course. Now, according to Marty McCary, MD, quote, your surgeon may be doing someone else's surgery at the same time as yours. We're talking about complex, long, highly skilled operations that are scheduled completely concurrently, so your surgeon is not present for half of yours or more. Many of us have been concerned about this for decades. Ask about it beforehand.
2,
Try your best to avoid emergency rooms in July. Okay, accidents can't be helped, but if you can avoid them until after July, that would be great. Why do we suggest trying to stay safe during July? Well, it's because the month of July is without a doubt the most dangerous time to visit an emergency room at any hospital, especially a teaching hospital. July 1st is the first day that medical students graduate and start working with patients full-time without anyone monitoring them. Regardless of how intelligent, talented, knowledgeable, and dedicated these new doctors are, nothing can change that it's their first time on live patients, and a frighteningly large number of mistakes will most likely be made. New doctors face the difficulty of learning how the soul-crushing bureaucracy of their new hospital works, with the added pressure of having to keep people alive. Every mistake a new doctor makes in July has to be corrected by a more experienced doctor. Do you want to be one of those mistakes? We didn't think so.
1,
Medical research is never double-checked. Okay, before we go into this, what a doctor goes through on a daily basis is absolutely phenomenal. The hours they work, the patients they treat, and the initial research they do is nothing short of amazing. The main thing here to them being so successful is the research. It's because of research that they're so successful in their field. For example, one doctor might notice the health benefits of, say, eating oranges every day and will spend years accumulating data that either proves or disproves their findings. That doctor will publish their results and become rich beyond their wildest dreams. Well, this is far from the truth. The funny thing about medical research is that there's glory, fame, and funding for publishing world-changing research, but there's little motivation to double-check that research. If new research is published and the right people sign off on it, that's usually the end of the story. Medical research is used to determine what type of care a patient receives, and bad research can and will lead to unintended consequences. We'll spare you those details, as we're pretty sure your imagination can piece together what some of the consequences behind a lack of research in the medical field can hold.
Don't forget to like us and subscribe for more Elite Facts.